Chris.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you.
I apologize, I speak no Spanish. I speak some French and some Russian, but I speak no Spanish. So my apologies for that, but it's very nice to meet you in person.
Thank you. I am confession. I learn English, your master class. I put the master class and repeat to listen English. And I learn in English and about the space, the mission. When I went to the Himalaya, the last night we had the full moon, and a few hours we will have the full moon. It's the same, and for me it's the same difficulty ride my bike to up the Himalaya, and it's the same to speak English with an astronaut.
Yeah, hopefully I'm not as hard as climbing the Himalayas in your bike, but the things that you've done and the places that you've seen and the people that you've inspired with your bike are incredible. So it's an honor for me to be speaking with you.
Okay, thank you. I went your country and you went to Argentina, to Cordoba, you know?
I didn't know I've been to Cordoba.
Yes.
Yeah, with the mustache. That's perfect. Very nice. You built a space shuttle and you have a Saturn V rocket, I see. Yes.
With Lego, all is Lego.
Nice.
I'm built in the quarantine.
Start, 2, 1, booster ignition, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery, returning to the space station, paving the way for future missions beyond.
When you went to the space, you could see whole planet. What do you think about the conflict, the human conflict?
Yeah, you're right. I've been around the world thousands of times. I've seen the whole planet thousands and thousands of times. Most of it is peaceful, but there are places where you can even see the war from space. I mean, if you look at the history of civilization, there is less war now. There are more people well fed. There are much less babies who die. There is a much higher percentage of people who make it through a full natural life. So we're not perfect, and we still have war. Unfortunately, it's sort of part of who we are, but we can be so much better than it. We can build magnificence. We can care for gracious things. We can help other people.
I saw you played guitar in the space. When I was 15 years, the old boys dancing, but I can't dancing, and I chose to DJ, and I put music, and the music is very important company to me. How is the music for you?
I grew up with music, like most people. My mother is a piano player, and she's a very good singer and a harmony singer. And my brothers, I have two brothers and two sisters. So the five of us, we're all musicians, and everybody plays an instrument and everybody sings. And we're not the best musicians in the world, and we're not the worst musicians in the world. We're just musicians, like everybody. And for me, there was always music with every celebration, with every birthday or every holiday. There was always music. And my brother and I bought a guitar when I was about 12 or 13, and we taught ourselves to play. And then my brother bought a banjo, and we've always played music since. And when we get together now, 50 years later, we play music and write music. And both of us have written many, many songs and recorded albums and played with a lot of different musicians. We've played at festivals all over, even in France, and in places in Canada and the United States. And to me, music is an essential part of being human. Maybe you know, but in a cave in Germany, on the banks of the Rhine River, where people lived 42,000 years ago, they found a musical instrument. It was the leg bone of a bird, of a crane, and they had drilled holes in it so that you could blow on the end and put your fingers over the holes and make music. And it's the same sort of instrument you could play today. And so I think if people were making instruments 42,000 years ago, then music, it's just part of what we are. And no matter where we go, whether it's, a cave in Germany or a nightclub in Cordoba or the space station, there's always going to be music. But I have a confession too. You have problems with your legs, so you couldn't dance. But I'm just not a good dancer. And that's part of the reason I played music also, was because if you're playing music, then you don't have to dance. And so it was sort of a way to protect myself. But no, I love music, and I play music almost every day. I have, guitar here, always that guitar all around the world with me. So yeah, music to me is just, it helps me explain the world to myself.
Okay. Is your passion?
It's one of my passions, yes. Yes, absolutely. It's something that I'm passionate about. And I've played in bands for most of my life.
3, 2, 1.
You lost disability for a short time in the space when you cut your vision when you walk to the space. You think in this moment if the normal people or disability people can go into the space someday?
Well, of course. It's like airplanes. If you asked me in 1910 or even 1920, 100 years ago, when can normal people fly airplanes or people with disabilities fly airplanes? Well, the trouble was the airplanes didn't fly very well then, and they crashed a lot. They were complicated, dangerous, brand new inventions. But as time progressed, as the technology got better, then airplanes became simpler to fly and of course safer for people to fly in, so that now anybody can fly in an airplane. And space flight is the same. It's still very dangerous and very hard. And you need people who have as many skills and capabilities as possible just to be able to do it. But with the newest vehicles that we're building, then pretty soon, within our lifetimes, if you want to fly in space, you will have the opportunity during your lifetime.
With the Scouts, with the Virgin team and the My Doctor team, what is the the reaction my body about the 3G. Tell me about the X G force.
Sure. So G is just the amount that the rocket is pushing on you, right? The Earth's gravity is pulling you down, and that's 1G. If you were on the moon, it would only be pulling 1/6 as strong. If you were on Mars, about 1/3 as strong. If you were on Jupiter, it'd be crushing you. But if a rocket is pushing you, it's maybe a little more like being on Jupiter. And if it's accelerating at a certain speed, you'll get twice your weight, or 3 times, then 3 times your weight. And so 3G, every part of your body feels like it weighs 3 times as much as it does right now. So your cheeks come down, and your blood weighs 3 times as much as it does normally. So your heart has trouble getting your blood to all the normal parts of your body. So it partially depends which direction is the 3G. If it's like this, straight down, then it's pushing all your blood down to your feet and in your legs. And your heart has a hard time lifting your blood all the way back up to your head. And so some people faint. But if you lie down on your back, then the G is just pushing on you this way. And so the blood isn't pushed to your feet. The blood is sort of just pushed to the back of your body. And in the Virgin spaceship that you're going to fly in, you're mostly lying on your back. It's a little bit hard to breathe. It feels very strange to lift your hand up or to try and lift your head up. But essentially, you're just lying there. And you'll be able to breathe, and your heart will be able to work, and you'll be fine. It's actually kind of fun. It's like a ride at the fair. It's like a ride at the amusement park. And especially if the purpose of pulling 3G is to get you up where you'll be weightless, where there's no G at all, where someone like you whose legs don't work very well, boy, are you ever going to love weightlessness, because you could just move around with your hands exactly even better, I think, than people who are dragging big, heavy legs around. I think you'll, in fact, maybe appreciate it even more than people who are different. So yeah, for me, 3G, it's not something you want to do for no reason. But boy, if 3G is going to take you to weightlessness, then it's worth it.
Okay. And how many G your maximum experiment when the shuttle up?
Before I was an astronaut, I was a F-18 pilot. If you're diving at the ground and you pull back on the stick, they can turn so hard that they can crush you down into the seat. And I've flown airplanes that can pull 8 or 9G. And on my flight, we didn't get above 3G. So the same sort of G force that you'll feel when you fly with Virgin.
And then lately, and again, thank you so much for your time, and I am very happy. Today is the special day. I remember all my life. Cynthia suppose again the same. And what is possible for you?
Yeah, possible is a different answer for everyone, I think. But it's also a different answer for me than it was a year ago, or 10 years ago, or 30 years ago. What was possible for you when you were 7, or when you were 17, or when you were 27? You know, the definition of possible constantly changes. And it's different for you than it is for someone in I don't know, Japan or in Canada. To me, fundamentally, possible is the crossover between all of the skills that you've learned and all of the things that you've imagined. That I could imagine myself winning a gold medal at the Olympics. But could I do that? Have I changed who I am enough to be able to do that? I'm pretty certain that if that was my main purpose when I was 7 years old, I would have found a way to change who I was, to turn that dream into something that's possible. It was just never important enough to me that was how I was going to shape my life. Or I could maybe play music with David Bowie. And that seemed impossible for most of my life. And yet David Bowie thought that my version of Space Oddity was the most poignant ever done, and he complimented me for it. So for most of my life, that would have been impossible. But I studied how to play guitar, and I studied how to sing, and I practiced and practiced and practiced. And then I got to a place where suddenly my dreams and my reality crossed over, and I had a chance to do it there, and I did it. I didn't just let the time go by. And that song became part of normal, where it used to be impossible. So to me, it's really that crossover of what are you dreaming of, and how important is it to you that you're willing to change your circumstances and change who you are so that those dreams can get a little closer to your own reality. And you don't have to look very far in the past to see impossible things becoming possible. I mean, everybody's got one of these in their pocket, and think how impossible this was just such a short time ago. And now we're mad when the Wi-Fi isn't fast enough. You know, possible happens faster than everybody can imagine. And it comes through dreams and hard work and willingness to change. And I think conflict and the necessity for people to work on things than being dissatisfied with where they are right now. So, and you're a wonderful example of that. Some people could look at you and say, well, he had, some problem with his legs. He can't do hardly anything anymore. And look at the incredible things that you've made possible just because you've decided that your dreams were important to you. You're a wonderful example of the difference between impossible and possible, the difference between dreams and reality. And so you're very inspiring to me.